Reddit, what's the most embarrassing that's happened to you? TLDR, I came during an ultrasound examination. In a sense I lost my virginity to an ultrasound device technician via kinda hand job. This will probably get lost here, but I have to get this out of my chest. Here are the details. I was 15 years old and had an accident playing basketball. My friend's knee hit me in pubic area, but apparently he caused havoc on all the veins going down to my balls. My balls swelled. They were the size of billiard balls. I was sent to hospital. I stayed there for 5 days. At the end of 5 days, swelling was more or less gone. My parents asked for an ultrasound exam to see if there were further damage, and I was sent to examination. So, the ultrasound guy, or was it a girl? I seriously don't remember. It was that traumatic. Put lotion on my balls, dong, etc. He was just scanning the area. And bear in mind, I had not masturbated for 5 days. I was attending an all-male boarding school and I was full of hormones boiling inside my body, steaming from my ears. I was numb down there after accident, but then all of a sudden feeling came. The technician is going up, down gently for minutes with the lube on my dong and balls. I got a massive erection. I mean, come to think about it, everything you expect from a good hand job was involved. Balls were not emitted like most HJ provider GFS do. I was doing my best to get rid of erection, but I was actually making it worse. And at that point my eyes caught the last thing it is supposed to. There is a newspaper in my right side on a table with a supermodel on top page. Someone back then I was obsessed with, in a bikini. I just let it go, and I came. I had the most intense orgasm, and since plumbing down there is all messed up, it was also extremely painful, and 7 days of reserves was all waiting inside. Again 15 years old, a mini Peter North incident was about to happen, but there was a paper towel that I had in my hand. Maybe dude knew what was going to happen, which came handy. So, I had my first physical experience as a hand job from an ultrasound technician, who as far as I remember a dude, delivered by an ultrasound device examination head. Moreover, after this incident, I had to visit a doctor for sperm count to make sure everything was okay. Unfortunately my parents gave me the ride, and they were present when I was presented the cup that I was supposed to fill, and was sent to a room. The most humiliating freaking week of my life. Oh, by the way, the ultrasound exposed an illness I had before that would possibly make me sterile. I got an operation. It saved my future in a sense. Blessing in disguise. I can't think of the most embarrassing thing that has happened to me in my life. I've probably blocked it out mentally, but this is one of the most recent incidents. This was about a year and a half ago in Tokyo. A man was coming from the water company to do some simply checks on my plumbing and whatnot. I was sitting at my desk in my one-room tiny apartment watching the very first episode of Boardwalk Empire as it had just come out and I was excited to see it. The inspector was in my bathroom, which is about 3 feet from my desk, in a room that's about 20 x 8 feet total. The man wraps up his inspection and wants me to sign some forms and the like. I stand up and, thinking this will take just a few seconds, leave Boardwalk Empire playing on my computer next to me. As I'm signing the papers and he is explaining his inspection to me, that long butt adult scene with Steve Buscemi and Paz whatever comes on. It sounds exactly like P since there's no dialogue, just obscene noises. I'm hoping it will be over in a second or two and go back to the dialogue so the waterman knows that I'm not just sitting there openly watching P while he does an inspection of my apartment. But this doesn't happen. The adult scene seems to go on for fricking ever. I didn't want to interrupt the inspector's explanation to turn around and pause the screen on a still of Paz's floppy T. That would make it look even more like P. So I'm hoping to run out the clock on this one. Again, it's still going on. God damn it. The inspector and I now have to finish the end of inspection signing and explanation with loud obscene noises bellowing from my computer and, if he looked at my screen, what appears to be an old man banging a drunk woman. As the inspector wraps up his explanation and we say goodbye, the scene finally ends right as the door shuts. I almost stopped watching Boardwalk Empire altogether because of that incident. I felt like the show had intentionally screwed me for some reason. My family had just moved into a new house. It was pretty much empty. 2 friends and I were in the master bedroom and the only thing in there was a vacuum. We were 11 at the time, so this was the age of masturbation experimentation. We turned the vacuum on and detached the hose, then we dropped our pants. There we were passing this thing around like a joint, talking about how much this felt like a blowjob. My friend was getting a little too much into it. He got on all fours and stuck the vacuum hose in between his legs and told me to get behind him and bang the vacuum doggy style. After about a minute of this, I looked up and saw my grandfather standing in the doorway. He said this is not good and walked out. Most embarrassing moment of my life hands down. TL. Doctor, my grandpa walked in on my friends and I fricking a vacuum hose. This is not good, is making me cry. Easily was the time I was at a party at a guy's house that I really liked. College years. Proceed to get blackout drunk. Locked myself in the bathroom, strip naked and pass out in the shower. Woke up in his female roommate's bed the next morning, fully clothed. Apparently her and a couple of the girls at the party dressed me in some of her clothes after the locksmith came to pick the bathroom door. Oh, and she also gave me a ride home. Needless to say, this did not impress said boy. What nice girls. During my sophomore year I was on the wrestling team. One day after practice I changed out of my basketball shorts and into some shorts with a zipper. So I got out of the locker and started walking towards the cafeteria where I was going to get picked up by my parents. My school was pretty big, so I had to walk almost a whole block to get there. While I was walking over there I felt a little breeze down in my pants. I don't know if this just happens to me or if other people have experienced this too, but sometimes when I wear boxers, my package slips out of that little opening in the front of the boxers. So anyways, I was walking and I felt a little breeze down there and I thought my package had slipped out of the opening. So all I did was just move my shorts and didn't even look down. As I walked to the cafeteria I must have felt that breeze about 5 times, and all those times I didn't look down. I just moved my shorts. I must have passed about 6 people on the way to the cafeteria, including some cheerleaders. Then I felt that breeze again, so I decided to feel if my zipper was down, and when I checked, I felt my dong hanging out of my shorts, so I looked down and there it was, hanging out of the shorts. At that moment I realized I was walking around with my penis hanging out of my shorts the whole time, even when I passed those cheerleaders. As I tucked it in, some person parked and their car started to laugh hysterically, so I just ran to the back of the cafeteria and waited there until my parents picked me up. That was the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. 4th grade, I was sitting in class and I had the bubble guts. I already went to the bathroom but it started rumbling again. I knew it was just gas this time but still tried to escape. Teacher ended up telling me no and I sat there suffering to hold this butt explosion. Not to mention the girl I liked was sitting right next to me. Well, needless to say I thought maybe if I lifted up and slightly shot it out the side it would be okay. Nope. Turns out half a cheek was still on the plastic acoustic chairs and let out the horn of Gonda in my classroom. Till this day nothing trumps the embarrassment of my Hadouken fart. The horn of Gonda. Oh god, I know that feeling all too well. I'm on vacation with my ex-boyfriend and his family at their home in a tiny fishing village in Mexico. My ex's dad got on really well with the locals, and they offered to take us on one of their 4 AM daily fishing outings. It ends up being myself, my ex, his dad, and several old Mexican men on this very small boat. Now, we all know you're not supposed to drink the water in Mexico. Unfortunately, a little bit of water, or whatever pathogens it contains, always finds a way into what you're eating. I was experiencing what men are called traveler's diarrhea. I did not consider this before getting on the boat, but just as we pull out of the harbor, I can feel that awful churning in the pit of my stomach, and by the time we're out to sea, I'm shaking and I feel like I'm going to pass out. I finally lean over to my ex and tell him the situation, and that I somehow have to relieve myself. He leans over and tells his father, who translates to the fisherman. The fishermen laugh and point into the ocean. I was in so much pain, I barely even thought twice about jumping into the middle of the ocean, pulling down my pants, and letting out a pretty terrifying bowel movement. And since it's not solid, it all floats to the top. I can even feel fish nipping at my butt. Finally, since the boat was sitting too high on the water, I had to be pulled back up, with my pants and undergarments around my ankles. No one was even laughing at me anymore. They just looked incredibly disgusted. The 2-hour ride home after that was possibly the most awkward 2 hours of my life. TLDR. I had massive diarrhea and had to poop in the ocean in front of my boyfriend, his father, and a bunch of old Mexican men. The night after my last girlfriend broke up with me, I got completely wasted, had a friend drive me to her house, broke into her garage, pooped on her car's windshield, and was promptly arrested for my behavior. It being a small town, I made a small, 3-paragraph story in the local newspaper that weekend. I need to see the article. My first serious boyfriend's father's papillons dragged my used tampon, which had been carefully wrapped in toilet paper and tucked into the garbage, out and chewed it into bits of red cotton fluff all over the living room. We heard his dad swearing at the dogs, so we stuck our heads out of the bedroom. His dad is standing there yelling, "What the frick did you chew up this time?" When I notice the red fluff, I turn bright red, shout, "I'll get IT," and start running for paper towels and picking it up. At this point, his dad got it and started cracking up so hard he cried. My boyfriend kept asking, "What is it? What is it?" I never answered and I hope he never realized. Just realized Papillon is a type of dog. Was thinking of butterflies for a second there. I had a lead role in the Nutcracker Ballet, in which I wore a white tutu. One of the moves I did was basically the splits, but being held up in the air by my partner, perpendicular to the ground, so my crotch was totally exposed, facing the audience. Did I mention I had my period, and my entire family was in the third row, and there were about 1,000 people in the audience, and they were filming the video that night? Yeah, good times. TLDR. Got my period in a white tutu in front of 1,000 people, including my family, and it's on video forever. Enjoy being tagged as the bloody Nutcracker. When I was younger I jumped off of a neighbor's swing set and my shorts got caught on a nail that was sticking out. My tighty whities also got caught and they both ripped off. I ran home across the street naked. Embarrassing, yes, but any closer and that nail would have tore my butt open. My ex-boyfriend told me that when he was a child he was jumping over a chain link fence and he got caught on the top and tore his scrotum. He had to the air. I peed on someone, was wasted at a dive bar and went to the bathroom. Lights in the bathroom were broken but you could make out the white ceramic of the trough urinal. Stepped up and started my business. After about 10 seconds my eyes started to adjust and to my horror I saw the back of a head about 3 inches from my face. The guy was shorter than me and wearing a white shirt and dark jeans. He was essentially camouflaged in my unadjusted night vision. I cut off the stream and moved next to him to finish. He noticed probably 5 seconds after that. As I ran circles with him chasing me around the pool table outside the bathroom I pondered letting him punch me a few times. Luckily the bouncers intervened in time and I and my friends were escorted out and into a waiting cab. TLDR. Unknowingly gave someone a golden shower. During my junior year of high school I made the unfortunate decision to attend the prom. Being a shy and confident band nerd I didn't plan on going but all of that changed when my best friend arranged a double date with some girls he knew. The prom itself went okay but all the excitement took place during our school's after prom. It was held in our gymnasium and hosted all sorts of fun American Gladiator type games. One game in particular was a giant inflatable tube where 2 or more individuals would attach a bungee cord around their waist with a special belt. Then they would take off running toward the end of the tunnel and whoever made it the farthest without getting snapped back eventually everyone would get snapped back to where they started. I made the unfortunate decision of wearing some loose-fitting gym shorts that early morning. Determined to show my date my awesome lower body strength I took off with the speed of a cheetah leaving my friend opponent in the dust. However when I got about halfway through the tunnel the bungee cord tightened, pulled back and yanked my shorts off launching them far away. I was left in my tighty whities helpless and shamed. My date along with the rest of the after prom crowd thought it was incredibly funny and laughed away. I did not. I remember this device. Some idiot decided to jump on the snapback, flew over the wall, hit some girl and knocked her unconscious. My ex-boyfriend and I were visiting his parents' house and we were sleeping in his old bedroom. When we woke up we decided on a little morning lovemaking. We were going at it pretty good. He was on top and I was holding my legs way up high by my chest and it was super hot, so all the covers were thrown off and we were in plain view and his mom walked in. She thought it would be nice to gather up our clothes and do some laundry before we headed back home. Awesome. : And this, parents of Reddit, is why you don't enter your grown children's room unless they were in the room you just left. Standing on the foredeck of a yacht, moored in a small, unpronounceable harbour on the Welsh coast one sunny summer's afternoon, stripped to the waist and enjoying the sunshine, when I notice a second yacht, crewed by what would be described in certain quarters of the internet as hot teens, preparing to come alongside us and tie up for the day. Being the courteous gentleman that I am and wanting to make the best impression possible, I prepared a rope to moor them to us, and stepped over the wire railing that runs around the ship. At this point, unbeknownst to me, my shorts catch on a stray strand of wire. As the yacht pulls up, I demonstrate my virile athleticism by leaping manfully to their deck. My shorts remain fixed to the wire. I fall and land bollock naked on my ass. Everyone is laughing so much that they fail to tie up and have to go round again. There is nothing as humbling as lying in your bunk hearing 6 girls discuss the smallness of your dong through an open window on a hot summer's night. I had just joined a gym and was changing in the locker room for first time. Apparently the norm there was to walk around naked making small talk about picking up things. Anyway, I had just come from the shower, taken off my towel and lifted my duffel bag. Up to my horror, a full, open 2 pounds bag of jelly beans spilled out and skittered all over the entire locker room. Absolute silence. The brightly colored beans looked suspiciously like pills, so every naked muscler bro watched closely while my naked self scurried on hands and knees in panic to collect hundreds of candies. I tried to apologize for the disruption, but every time I lifted my head my eyes were squarely at dong level. I didn't go back to that gym. TLDR. 30 naked men watched me collect candy while naked on all fours. Last summer I worked at a theme park. Part of my job was to spread the magic of Adventure Island, hype up the kids and stuff. So as they got off the ride I'd be dishing out thumbs up and high fives and getting the kids to yell yeah we love Adventure Island and all sorts of crap. So yeah, ride ends, kid runs up to me for a high five. Then, of course, everyone wants one. So I am like yeah, high five, awesome, high five, hey little man, how about a high 10 feet? The kid gave me a high five. I looked at him and said oh come on, give me a proper high 10. The kid just stares at me blankly. Then I realized he had one arm. I felt so embarrassed I wanted to just kill myself then and there. I said sorry and just walked back to my box. No more high fives for anyone. Was with my friends at my house. Friends thought it would be great if I rode my horse around. I jumped on wearing only jeans and she didn't have a saddle on. I entered into a gallop, then I felt the worst pain ever. So bad that I slid off my horse sideways onto the ground. I lay there for about a minute with my friends around me wondering what the heck was wrong. I had broken my hymen. A female horse broke my hymen. I jumped on wearing only jeans. TLDR. Topless virgin deflowered by horse. As I was picking up a date, I was introduced to her parents. Nervously joking around to break the ice, I told them to not worry, I wasn't going to violate her. The other night, I was sick with the flu. I also ate something that had upset my stomach, on top of the flu, because I'm an idiot. We went to pick up some medicine for me, and on the way home, I told him to floor it because I needed to throw up and have explosive diarrhea at the same time. Oh, did I mention that we were visiting his parents at the time? It was splendid. By the time we got to his parents' house, I was exploding from both ends. I sprinted to his bathroom and decided to take care of the poop first. Well, after taking the crap of a lifetime, I clogged the toilet. Panicking, I grabbed the plunger and tried to unclog the unholy discharge of my bowels. As this is happening, I'm gagging. The toilet water stopped flowing when it reached the top. And because I wasn't enough of an idiot already, I thought to myself, hey, let's try to flush the toilet now, so I flushed. Again, the water began flowing over the rim of the bowl. My soft, squishy poop was plopping over onto the floor. At this point, I'm freaking out. By freaking out I mean my brain has stopped working and I'm laughing like a hyena because the only other option is to cry. Now my fiance is worried because he thought I was throwing up so violently. It sounded like laughter. He knocked on the locked door. Bacon Blossom. Are you okay, honey? I need your advice through the locked door. What happened? Just let me in now. After much arguing, I open the door. He looks at me standing in an inch of poopy water holding a plunger. He then looks at the bathroom floor with my little poop nuggets clinging happily to every surface. His mouth just dropped open. It was then I started bawling. Let me wake up my mom. I can't find a mop. He struggled between his own gags. If you love Emmy, you will tell her I tease your poop. What? I swear to God, if you want to marry Emmy, you will take the blame for this and tell her I tease your poop. Needless to say, I don't do well under pressure. He ended up getting some towels and cleaning up my poop off the floor while I threw up in the sink, sobbing, 2 feet next to him. So I'm pretty sure this is the worst thing any girl has ever done to him. I'm also pretty sure that if he can clean up my poop off the ground and still want to sleep next to me, he is a keeper. TLDR. Poopocalypse 2012. Can't wait to marry this man. That is freaking love right there. That is freaking love right there.